Participatory monitoring and evaluation. Contents: introduction, participatory monitoring and evaluation, steps of participatory monitoring and evaluation process, techniques and tools for participatory monitoring and evaluation, reference. Outlining the terms. Participation. Through participation, we lose control of the project and in so doing gained ownership and sustainability. There is no agreement among planners and managers about what participation exactly is and why it is important. Possible definition. Participation is a process through which stakeholders influence and share control of a development initiative and the decision and resources which therefore. We have an example of World Bank 1996. Outline the terms. One of them is participation. Why participation? For many governments, the United Nations Agency and non-governmental organization NGOs, participation is considered to be critical to program planning and poverty elevation as a means to seek sustainability and equity. Let's continue with the planning, with the participation. Why participation? By Franklin and Kegel 2002, they said people know what they work for them. People know what works for them. And the professionals need to learn from people. Number 2, people make contribution of resources, money, material labors, those are resources for these programs. People become committed to activities that they have helped them develop. Another one is people can develop skills, knowledge and experience that they aid them in the future work. Let's continue with another term, which is monitoring. What is monitoring? Monitoring is a continuous process of collecting and analyzing information to compare how well a project, program, or policy is being implemented against expected results. Okay, let's continue with the term monitoring in slide 3 of 3. In slide 2 of 3, we are comparing the expected results and the project itself at its actual state. And you can see in its actual state how it is and what the expected result. And that's why one of the reasons why we monitor, to see the progress of the project that we have started. Let's continue defining the terms monitoring. And we're asking ourselves, why monitoring? Monitorings aim at providing managers and main stakeholders with regular feedback and early indication of progress or lack, therefore, in the achievement of intended results. Monitoring generally involves collecting and analyzing data on implementation process, strategies, and results, and recommending corrective measures. Then we define another term, which is evaluation. Why evaluation? Why do you evaluate? Which is very necessary in our projects. The reasons as to why evaluation is let's start with the definition of what is evaluation. Evaluation is a systematic and objective assessment of an ongoing or completed project, program, or policy. It is designed, implementation, and results. Evaluation determines the relevance and the fulfillment of objectives, efficiency, effectiveness, impact, and sustainability. Why evaluate? That's what we're asking ourselves. An evaluation it should provide information that is credible and useful, so that lesson learned can be included in the decision-making process. Now, we have a picture there showing us participatory monitoring and evaluation when they are combined together. And another, we have a cycle of a project participatory monitoring and evaluation process. We have decision making. We start with planning, implementation, evaluation, and then we come up with a decision making. Participatory monitoring and evaluation is a process through which stakeholders at various levels engage monitoring and evaluation particular project, program, policy, share control over the content, the process, and the result of monitoring and evaluation activity, and engage in taking the or identifying corrective actions. Let's see at the stakeholders group. The following are stakeholders group. We have both men and women at community level. We have NGOs. We have private and business involved. We have government staffs at all levels. We have confessions versus participatory monitoring and evaluation. Then we have the steps of project participatory monitoring and evaluation process. We have planning, gathering data, data analysis, sharing information, and defining action to be taken. Planning the process. Identify or planning the process. In planning, this is where a group or stakeholders group are involved in planning. After planning, we have to collect the data. You collect the data for the process that will help you to come up with the last result or what is happening, because in the project we keep monitoring the process to see the end result. And here we have to gather the data. We have two types of gathering the data. We have quantitative and qualitative. An example of qualitative methods are community surveys, we have interviews, and also we can observe. And also we have another example of qualitative method. In qualitative method, we can use local mapping, interviewing, and group tools. And also we can have exercises. Then we come to the step 3, which is analyzing data. After collecting the data, we have to analyze it. You analyze them to know how successful or where we have failed, our constraints. We analyze our successes, our constraints, so that we can come up with our conclusion and also the lessons that we have learned through the process. And step 4, this is where sharing the information and defining action to be taken. In this step, this is where you make decision. After correcting the data, after analyzing it, now we can come up with a conclusion and make an appropriate action and decision based on our findings. Then we have, as we continue, we are going to look at participatory rural appraisal, PRA. What is this? It is an approach used in the field of international development. It aims in incorporate of knowledge and opinion of rural people in the planning and management of projects and programs. It uses large variety of techniques. These techniques include group dynamic, we have sampling, interviews or interviewing, and visualization. Then we have another beneficiary assessment. What do we mean by beneficiary assessment? It's a qualitative research tool. Beneficiary assessment is a qualitative research tool used to improve and impact a development operation by gaining few intended beneficiary regarding a planning or ongoing interventions. Then we have another term here, SARAR. SARAR means it's an acronym. An acronym SARAR stands for 5 attributes and the capacity that are considered. The minimum essential of participation to be dynamic and self-sustainable, sustaining process. When we talk of SARAR, it stands for self-esteem, associative strength, resourcefulness, action planning, and responsibility. Let's start with the self-esteem. What do we mean by self-esteem? Self-esteem is a sense of self-worth as a person, as well as variable resources of development. When we talk of associative strength, the capacity to define work toward a common vision through mutual respect, trust, and collaborative effort. And when we talk of resourcefulness, this is the capacity of visualizing new solutions to problems, even against the odds, and the willingness to challenge and take risk. You are willing to challenge the action and take risks. When we talk of action planning, this is where combining critical thinking and creativity to come up with new, effective, and reality-based planning in which each participant has a useful and a fulfilling role. And finally, we have responsibility. For follow through until commitment made is fully discharged and hoped to be benefit achieved. By the end of our project, the main aim, the main purpose, the main goal of a project, or what we desire when we are starting a project, is to see the end result. That goal we target at the beginning of every project.